Over the years, Chris and I have often entertained at various nursing homes and hostels for folk with Down syndrome. So when I came across the following story, I thought I'd put it into verse and share Stevie's tale with you. Enjoy something for our Stevie. My name is Rowdy Rawlins, and I run a roadhouse, folks. And bias isn't my concern when hiring girls or blokes. But Stevie had Down syndrome, and it played heaps on my mind that serving in a diner might be tough for that lad's kind. The lass from social services said, "Mr. Rawlins, sir, young Stevie is reliable, to this I can concur. He may have smooth face features and be thick-tongued in his speech, a little short and dumpy, but this job's within his reach." The truckers weren't concerned to me, as most, I must confess, ignored who bought their tucker out, in fact could not care less. So long as it was edible and plenty on the plate, they'd chat and drink their coffee and would then head interstate. It was the four-wheeled college kids and all the yuppie snobs, as well as white shirt workers with their fancy paying jobs, who came in here quite regular that might put on a show, so hell, I'd have to watch him for the first 2 weeks or so. I didn't need to worry, as within the first few days, young Stevie had the staff wrapped round his finger anyways. The truckies, who were regulars, adopted the young lad and made him truck stop mascot, and that really made me glad. He loved to laugh and please folk, but he fiercely did his job, which helped me to stop worrying about the other mob. The salt and pepper shakers were aligned and all in place, and not a breadcrumb or a spill was left that you could trace. In fact, I had to ask him if he might just slow things down and let the folk first leave the place before he went to town. He lingered in the background and his frame moved to and fro, and Stevie scanned the diner for a table right to go. In time, we learnt our Stevie lived just down the road a ways and shared the public housing with his widowed mum these days. Disabled and on benefits from cancer surgery, his mum used Stevie's pay packet to keep the family. Then Stevie never showed one day, the first time in 3 years. Apparently his heart was crook, which left the staff in tears. The road stop was a gloomy place without our Stevie there, and how we waited anxiously and slipped in the odd prayer. A ripple of excitement then revived the place to life when word came that our Stevie had survived the surgeon's knife. Old Franny, the head waitress, and a grandmother of 5 let out a war whoop when she heard and danced a little jive. Joe Ringer and 2 truckie mates were somewhat mystified and wondered what old Fran was on, and watched on goggle-eyed. Fran blushed and smoothed her apron and revealed young Stevie's plight, and 3 big rough-neck truckies held back tears of sheer delight. They'd wondered where the lad had been. They'd missed him sure enough, and guessed that Stevie's mother would be doing things real tough. The boys had just walked out the place when 2 more mates turned up and asked Fran about the words upon the napkin neath the cup. Fran went to clear the table, and as she did she cried, "Just something for our Stevie," said the words, and wrapped inside were 3 new $20 notes, and both the men quizzed Fran what did it mean, the words and notes. Fran's story then began. Those trucking men left napkins too, with notes and words inside. And 3 months later Stevie rang. The tears were hard to hide. "I'm ready, Mr. Rawlins, sir, to start my job again." He rang 5 times that day, I think, repeating that refrain. When Stevie came to work next day, I took him and his mum inside to shout them breakfast, but I gave young Steve the drum. "You'll have to clear the table first," which seemed a bit unkind. But when he saw the napkins, well, it blew his little mind. Beneath the plates and saucers were white napkins everywhere, with "Something for our Stevie," from us folk who really care. Truck companies and drivers all donated in some way, and all the staff and diner guests were moved to tears that day. While everybody partied and expressed sincere delight, none noticed Stevie's absence. He had disappeared from sight. But Stevie hadn't wandered far, just down an aisle or two, engaged in clearing tables, as our Stevie loved to do.